Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we continue my 2021 year-end top 10s as we look at my number 4 heavyweight in the world right now, the former longtime WBC champion, Deontay Wilder of the United States. Wilder entered the year coming off of his first career defeat in 2020 when he got laid out against Tyson Fury and knocked out, dominated in their rematch, and lost his WBC title. So heading into 2021, it looked like at the end of the year that he had passed on the fight with Fury, the potential third fight that was in a contract, and Tyson Fury started to pursue a huge undisputed title fight with Anthony Joshua. But that fight, he ended up forcing the fight to happen, coming back to the table and forcing the fight to happen between him and Tyson Fury. So in October of 2021, Wilder would fight for his first and only time that year after, about 20 months off. He would take on Tyson Fury in a third fight. And heading in, he was coming in a sizable underdog. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again, the announcers hit it on the head. You knew, but you didn't know. You know? And what that means is everybody was expecting Tyson Fury to win the fight. And you just didn't know because of Deontay Wilder's power and his emotion and his passion if he could land something major to make this, make it an interesting fight. And boy, did he ever. In one of the best heavyweight fights I've ever seen, Tyson Fury went out there, and in the first round, Deontay Wilder won with a jab. He was using a jab to the body. He won the round, but at the end of the first, Tyson Fury hit him with a combination and looked like he swung the tide. In the second round, Fury dominated Wilder. Then in the third round, it was more of the same, and then boom, he puts Wilder down, and it looked like just a continuation of their second fight. And it was, that Fury was just picking up where he left off now, and this fight was going to be over soon. But Deontay Wilder, in the fourth round, Tyson Fury was coming in, leading with his head, and a short right hand later, and Tyson Fury was on the ground, and it looked like Deontay Wilder was going to pull off the victory and, potentially set up a fourth fight between him and Fury. And he even scored another knockdown, and it looked like Fury was about to go, and then boom, out of nowhere, Fury takes control of the fight back. And I was just shocked at how that worked, how that dynamic. In the fifth round, Fury seemed towards the second half of the fifth round like he had his legs again. And then in the sixth, seventh, eighth, Fury was controlling the action, but Deontay Wilder and looked like he was going to put Wilder out. And in the ninth round too. But then Deontay Wilder would land a big punch, and then it was like, wow, okay, here we go. He's still in the fight. And then finally in the 10th round, Fury hurt Wilder again and put him down. And this was the fourth time that Wilder would be down between the second and the third fight against Fury. And he had already scored 4 knockdowns himself on Fury. So they were tied. But in the 11th, finally it looked like Deontay Wilder was just too tired and he wasn't going to be able to hold on. And Tyson Fury would put the all-heart Deontay Wilder away with a monster right hand, chopping right hand that sent Wilder face first into the canvas. And the referee stopped the fight as Tyson Fury retained the heavyweight title and Deontay Wilder came up short. So Wilder heading into 2022, it's unclear what he's going to do. He drops one spot from number 3. He's 36 years old now. He's a former heavyweight champ, 36. Overall, he's 42-2 with 1 draw, 41 knockouts. His only loss and draw, his only 2 losses and draw have come against Tyson Fury. So this guy, what does he do now? He's still a huge money fight for anybody. So he can pretty much dictate terms with whoever. Not likely to land a title shot this year. So does he even try to get back in the mix? Does he retire? There was a report that said he's finding the will to keep fighting hard. Excuse me. I believe if he fights, we'll see him back towards the middle of the year. I would love to see him and Andy Ruiz Jr. I would love to see that fight. Maybe he needs to fight somebody else, shake off some rust, and get a victory. Because to be honest, he hasn't won a fight since November of 2019 when he knocked out Luis Ortiz. So, you know, maybe he needs to come back in 2022 and record a knockout win and put himself back in, you know, serious position. And then maybe him and Andy Ruiz or somebody else with a top 10 fighter can get it on in the second half of the year that will guarantee Wilder one last run at a world title. But right now, it's unclear what's going to happen with Deontay Wilder. But I hope he continues fighting. I think that, you know, the last thing to go is a punch, and Wilder has proven that he still has that punch. And I think he should roll the dice again, you know, as he, you know, closes out his career. This should be his last run, and, you know, go for it. But we got to wait and see what he decides to do. But that's what I got for my number 4 heavyweight in the world right now. The former longtime WBC champion, Deontay Wilder, as my 2021 year-end top 10s continue. I hope you enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been here with the truth.